Hey, welcome back to the Gemini channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Gemini. Know that energy is fluid. Roles can be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel, I like to go deep. So I look at everything, but I take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why things are happening the way that they are, why things are playing out the way that they are. Because a lot of times it's not about what your person feels about you. It's why your person is acting the way that they're acting and why we tend to continue to attract the same types of people in our lives that trigger us in the same exact way. We feel like we continue to live the same karmic experiences. So, in order to break the karmic cycles, we need to be able to have awareness. And then we can actually integrate the spiritual lesson and then transmute the negative energy. Otherwise, we continue to stay a magnet for those type of experiences. So, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you have to obviously be open to getting a shadow reading. You have to like the video. You have to also subscribe to the channel. And then you have to write the word of the video in your comment bar. Sorry, I had a glass on my counter, like here, my desk here, and I had a drink in it and got a lot of condensation. So I'm wiping it off. All right. Now let's see what the word of the video is. The word of the video is disappointment. Disappointment. Well, I feel like you're connected to someone that's really disappointed in the way that things worked out for them. I feel like you're connected to someone that had a choice between you and someone else, and they chose somebody else, but they chose somebody that they were with previously. And they're in a place of disappointment because what that person had, but their selling points of that person, none of them were true. So your person might have perceived that you didn't make as much money as this person, you didn't have enough as much as the person that they were with previously. So they chose to stay with the person that they were with. And what happened is that that person that they were with, well, pretty much took them for everything that they have. So I feel like they're in a disappointment mainly because they know that they can't return back to you. They were so sure that they knew who you were. And now they're in a place where they're disappointed because they're looking at you and you're showing them a different version of yourself, like where they can actually see that things are going to happen in your life, like where you're going to make money, where you're going to have, like, where I feel like this person stayed with somebody that actually took whatever they had built. So if they had a business, they took the business. If they owned a house, they took the house. If they only had a car, they took the car. Whatever assets this person had, it's like they were sticking with this person because they perceived that they were going to be able to acquire more, have more, that there was going to be some sort of opportunity. Well, it never happened. Bottom line, it didn't happen. And I feel like you're disappointed in this person also because you're seeing that you thought that you had a connection with this person. I feel like what they showed you is that, you really didn't have like as strong of a connection as you thought. You're also disappointed in the fact that you didn't think that this person was, they lied to you. So you didn't see them as the person that they're really displaying, like the character is of what they have, which is all about themselves, and they're very selfish. So let's see what happened, because I feel like something happened also that made this person choose to stay put. It was like, well, it's again, this person kind of wanted to have you their way. and you kind of felt like if you were going to be still connected to them, you would be trapped. You would be trapped in a connection that was completely one-sided and that you knew that you weren't going to be happy in, and eventually you would want to get out of. So I feel like you saw that by the way that they were acting. They weren't giving you a definite, yes, I want to be with you. They weren't making plans with you. They were keeping it like surface, like up in the air. So you already saw and you had expectations, and having these expectations from this person, and them not following through obviously was a trigger for you because you're like, well, I thought that I meant more to you than what you're showing me. So like you said, you were like, you knew you weren't going to be happy with their one-sided. They were one-sided. It's like they never really knew whether they were going to leave that karmic. They kept saying that they were going to leave the karmic. And I feel like there was always a part of them that wanted to leave the karmic. They just, in order to leave the karmic, they would have to leave their money. They would have to, you know, like downsize a lot. And that would affect the way that people would perceive them. Well, that's what happened anyway. That's what happened anyway. They just weren't the ones to do it. They were the ones that really thought that they had all the power. They never even thought that the karmic was going to like pull the plug on this connection. The karmic lured them back in and actually trapped your person where your person had expectations of like living happily ever after with a lot of money and getting a lot of prestige or getting some sort of notoriety because of their money or their wealth or whatever they whatever pipe dream that karmic told them to make them stay put. But the expectations obviously like never, but like it obviously didn't pan out. It was like just a ploy to get your person stuck. Yeah, so now it's like they're in a place of isolation because they're embarrassed, and they were embarrassed. But see, being with you, the irony is this person never wanted to give you anything. They kept you isolated where you had expectations, and they expected you to stay trapped in a really unfair situation. So what we see here is that the karmic actually did to them what they did to you. So what comes around goes around. So that's pretty much what happens here. Where now I'm feeling like your person's really, like I said, they're disappointed, and they're more disappointed and mad at themselves because of the fact of they burnt a bridge with you, I feel. Let's see, let's go deep and see what they really feel about you. And I'm only going to pull three cards. Words have hurt me in the past, and that's why I fear talking to you. So it's again, they don't even really know how to approach this, to be honest with you. And they also know that there's really nothing that they could possibly say that would make you, be able to like see things from their perception. I feel like what happened is that they really thought that they were going to leave this karmic. They were made plans with you. Then what happened is they didn't follow through with you. What happened is they stayed put with the karmic because the karmic sold them a pipe dream, and they didn't really know what to say to you. So they kind of left it like open. So I think even in the back of their mind, they weren't really 100% sure whether they were going to stay with the karmic, even though the karmic had sold them a pipe dream. I feel like this person is a strategist. It's like they only do what's best for themselves. So they don't communicate, but they're also not emotionally intelligent and they also don't like to show any sort of vulnerability. So they're never transparent. And what happened here is that this karmic had a lot more power than what they perceived, because they perceived that it was over. There are messages being exchanged through music and movies. Listen carefully, trust what you hear. So I believe that this person tries to forget about you, tries to not think about you, but if that's all that they can think about, because again, they were lured in by the karmic, or so I should say, not even lured in, they were with the karmic. They were on their way out. That relationship ended. The karmic sold them a pipe dream. They stayed. It's like everything backfired. So now, of course, they're thinking about you because they were originally supposed to be with you. They're looking at you, and you didn't stick around. You were like, you saw the writing on the wall. So they know that they burnt their bridge with you, but that's all that they can think. So they see the signs and synchronicities. There's a part of them that just like I said, the thing wants to be like is looking at you differently now. I feel like is really allowing themselves to see what they could have had with you. Because like I said, they're like even intuitively, it's like whether they want to or not, they're seeing signs and synchronicities and everything is telling this person about you. And it's like, and now like they're in such a like uncomfortable place with this karmic that I believe that it's not that they don't have like these feelings for you, but now it's like they really are like obsessive thinking because they long like there was always this passion there. There was always this connection, this spiritual connection. So they and like there was always good chemistry. Like even if you guys didn't do anything, there was always that attraction and the spiritual connection where there's a lot of, that passion and that emotion and the ESP connection through the heart and the mind, where this person like is in a space where they're not doing anything with the karmic. I believe that once that karmic knew that they hooked them hook, line, and sinker, they like kind of trapped them so that they couldn't go anywhere. They took all their money, they took all whatever resources that they have. So I feel like this person was married to the karmic and the relationship was dead for a long time. And your person was always messing around on this person. And, you happen to be one more person that they, fucked around with, but, it was the end of the line for your person. It's like where, your person really was never making definite plans to stay with you or to stay with the karmic. What it looked like is that they were sitting on the fence and waiting for someone to do something, but they weren't going to do it. And so the karmic finally did it. But when the karmic did it, took all this person's resources, took all this person's everything. So now, of course, they're thinking about you. Of course, they're looking back at the spiritual connection, but they also don't really know what to say. So they're in a place of, I would say, regret. Definitely in a place of regret. And I don't really even need to ask probably how you feel about this person, but we'll pull it to see. Again, when you were with this person, you felt lonely because it's not that they would go deep with you. They weren't building an emotional connection. They had somebody at home. So, like you realize that there's really nothing to miss. And now you don't trust this person. It's, if anything, they'll give you anxiety because the whole time they were with somebody else. And what you know is that they're avoidant, that they're not even going to make a decision one way or the other. They're going to have somebody else do it. But the problem is somebody else will do it, and then they'll mold to that life, and then they won't be happy with that life. And then they go out and cheat because that's what happened with this karmic. So it's almost like this person is looking at you almost to be the fixer. This person's used to acting superior. They don't like the fact that the karmic has all this control on them. And they certainly don't like that you have control over them. But there's a sense that this person feels that they can come in and be passionate and win you back. But remember, there's a part of this person that wants to come back because, hey, there's nothing going on in their life. They don't have anything. Because again, this is like what you remember. They acted like they don't care. Otherwise, they don't act like they care. So there's a part of you that's like that already knows. Things didn't work out with a person that you decided to stay with, the person that you were supposedly leaving when you met me. But the whole time you were never really leaving that person because that person, that karmic, is the person that dumped them. So you're like, I don't know if I want you to come back to me. You acted like you didn't give a shit the whole time. It's like, so yeah, so now your person is haunted. And they're haunted because it's like they know what they did and they know that they can't come back. And you're haunted because you're like, even if I did care about you, after everything that you did, don't think that I can't erase it from my mind. Like not without you doing something completely different. And right now the only thing different is that again is the same as before, which is now again, you're bringing up the passion. It's like that's never a problem with that area in conversation. But as far as really having a conversation, well, people have hurt you before, so you don't like to be able to have a conversation, so you avoid. And then when I bring it up, you're annoyed because then now I'm asking too many questions, and that makes you feel as if I'm trying to like control you, and then you act superior, and then you shut down. So there's a part of you that's like, I'm not in the mood to go through a lot of anxiety again or feel lonely again. From what I remember, you were a disappointment. So what's this person going to do? Are they going to do anything? Because as far as right now, that like I said, you don't want this unless you are going to see something else or the person in this story. Finances are a problem. Of course they are, because karmic took everything. So your person is not like trying to figure out how to get money. And they also know that they can't come to you broke because they held back from you. They were supposed to be in a connection with you and they didn't. Instead, they stayed with somebody else. They poured into somebody else. And not only were they pouring into someone else, but that somebody else like trapped them and to wound up taking all their money, taking all their resources. No, now they're going to come to you broke. And this is what this person knows, is that like on an intuitive level, that you don't want them to come to you broke. That they wouldn't stand a chance. I abandoned people to make myself feel important. It said this person chases the facade. That's why they, stayed with the money. That's why that karmic was able to press the buttons and create like the illusion that they were going to get something. If they stayed together, they were going to get more money, or that they were going to get some sort of prestige. Your person's ego. I don't even want to call them your person, but the person that you're connected to is an egomaniac. They want that attention. So they thought, oh, well, if I stay with the person that has the resources, it'll be easier for me. And then they didn't say anything to you. It's again, they just abandoned you. You make me want to be a better person. I feel like because you didn't react, you didn't say anything. Like, what were you going to say? It's like this person wanted you to say something, would have been easier for them because then they would have justified it. But being the fact that you didn't say anything and now they're comparing you against the karmic, and what they see is that they really desire you and they're trapped with somebody that they don't really want to be with and didn't want to be with. I'm afraid of commitment, and they're afraid of commitment because of the karmic. So what we see here is a lot of that they admire you, they want forgiveness because they feel bad about what they did, but they're still afraid of commitment. And part of that is because of the karmic. And part of it is just because of the way that they are. It's that this person doesn't communicate. They pay too much attention to the physical and not enough with the emotional connection. And again, what they do is they hide behind their money. Prestige means a lot to them. So that's because they don't feel good about themselves. But the irony here is that they thought by saying with the karmic that they were going to have a better life. And what happened is that like everything that they were doing to you was done to them literally, and um they're forced to like see how they treated you because of that, and they feel bad. They do want forgiveness. I pulled away because I am overwhelmed with all of the things going on in my life. So again, that karmic like flip the switch, and so they're not coming towards you now because they don't really know how to come towards you, and they also are overwhelmed because they don't have any more money. They don't have anything. So do they think about coming back? Yes. Do they think about how they treated you? Yes, they feel bad, but they have no money. They don't have, their life is completely ruined, and they're like they don't really know like where to turn, and they also know that they can't come back to you with no money because you will not stay in their life. You'll say, I'm not the fix it crew. And the thought of you rejecting them, I feel like your person like wouldn't be able to handle it because they're in a really bad way. They're in a really bad way. It's like everything that this person has accumulated, everything that they've built, everything that they've have, like has just been taken away. Deservingly so, by the way, because they were with that karmic the whole time, and the karmic like was putting up with it for a long time. And then they just were like not getting anything. Your person was sitting on the fence, not giving you anything, not giving that karmic anything. And the karmic finally just was like, oh, you ain't going to be living here, taking my money, utilizing me for whatever you want to use for. So they pulled the plug on it. And your person never expected that. And what they never expected to be in was a position where you turned your back and the karmic turned their back on at the same time. They really thought that they were able to really pull the punches. That's what they thought. So we have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? Because you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. And what we see here is that this person really had nothing to offer ever because they were always connected to the karmic. You know, I mean, they could have left. They chose not to, and now they can't. And they can, but they know you'll reject them. So we have to say, well, what kind of like shit is that? Why would the universe bring me a person that is a liar and connected to someone else, never gave me anything, made me feel undervalued, not worthy. What is the universe trying to tell me? And the spirit says, your inner child wounds, your spiritual wounds have created shadows. So let's look at those wounds, those inner child wounds to see. You wouldn't be aware of what those wounds are. They're repressed. which is that they've been suppressed for so long you don't even remember. They become part of your subconscious mind. It's what you believe. And you believe due to situations that you've lived. There are also gifts in there as well, believe it or not. Especially since you got away from this person, I wouldn't be surprised to see a few little gifts there, like intuition or something that told you, again, once you saw the writing on the wall, you didn't stick around, you just disconnected from this person. They, I don't think this person knew that that's what you did. They thought that they left you. They did because they never came back, but you never fought them because you saw that the writing was on the wall. Laughter, card number one. Optimism, card number two. Abuse, card number three. Organized chaos, card number four. Disassociated, card number five. Wonder, card number six. All right. So obviously abuse. Growing up in an environment that you were abused so bad that you disassociated from. So we want to know where the repressed energy comes from. It comes from, again, the fact that we've disassociated from whatever that trauma was a really long time ago. So there's fragmented pieces of yourself that you don't even know, and that you didn't even know that existed, and so what Spirit's saying is you grew up in a place where it was always chaos, and though you did everything that you needed to do, it wasn't in a place of, I don't want to say rest and digest, but I always feel to say that because it's like when we're at ease, when we're no, just in the creative mind, okay? The creative, intuitive mind. We're in a relaxed state. We're at ease, opposed to disease, and disease comes from chaos. So I feel like if you grew up with abuse to the point that it was where you detached and disassociated from, it was because it was pretty chaotic. However, you have gifts, and those gifts are, that you were always optimistic. You were always an optimistic person, and that you were always able to laugh at situations that obviously aren't like laughable, that you're like a happy person regardless of what you went through. I feel like you're a highly sensitive person that just is a happy person and is an empath. And empaths tend to be very happy. And I feel like this person was more of a narcissist energy. And so because the connection is held together by feeling the clairsentient through the heart and mind, the spiritual connection, so we can feel the energy. So I feel like this person was your opposite, where it's again they weren't as happy. They were angry, in fact, because they really feel like they don't have control over their life, and in some essence, they feel that way just being married to that karmic. They have commitment issues, even though I don't really believe that there's anything wrong with that karmic. I just believe that they don't like commitment. They don't like that type of relationship. So really what Spirit is saying is if you grew up in abuse to the point that you were disassociated, you didn't create your own life enough. So there are parts of yourself that you don't even recognize are gifts because you don't know yourself. Because if you were in survival, well, you weren't in the creative mind. You were in the survival mind, where Spirit's saying abuse will do that. Disassociated will do that. And the energy that you hold on to is from childhood wounds of abuse are still there, even though you are no longer in that situation. Understand the energy just doesn't dissipate because you're out of the situation. Your mind still has it. So in order for you to actually heal your mind, you have to again we live in a place of optimism, right? Of to be in a high vibration, because when we're optimistic, we have faith and we're able to like then go out and try things and find ourselves because we're not in a place of a negative energy believing that nothing can happen for us. Understand you're not in a place of chaos. Organized chaos is, that's also the creative mind, which we could say, you also have, and that is a way to get to recreate a new life where spirit is saying, in order for you to heal the wounds of abuse of the past, it is to find the wonders within you. Go out into the world and find the wonders that stir up your soul to experience life because you don't know everything that there is about yourself, but because you don't, you're holding on to too much of the past where you were abused. You didn't get emotionally what you needed. And that's what happens when we disassociate. We disassociated because of mental and emotional trauma. So physical trauma will do that too, but in this instance, it was emotional and psychological trauma, where this is actually what this person was trying to do. They were in a very low vibration, very selfish. They wanted their cake and eat it too, and they were going to get it by keeping you stuck in a lower vibration, which is really chaotic, where spirit says, no, it's about you putting the energy into yourself, again, pouring it into yourself to find out exactly the things that stir up your soul, the wonders within life. And that's when you'll find the wonders and your own spiritual gifts, spirit says. We end it off with spirit saying this. Me. It's all about you. Okay? All about you because it's me, but this is your message. So it's I allow serenity to regain in me. The love I have for myself invites harmony to settle within my being. I listen to and honor and strive to fulfill the needs of my soul. So Spirit's saying, it's all about you right now and taking care of yourself and finding yourself and pouring into yourself so that you can become yourself, because this person is just dead weight. They're shady. They sit on the fence and they wait for like people to do their dirty work for them so that they don't have to feel guilty, so that they don't have to be accountable. And that's not somebody that would make you feel fulfilled. It's someone that will always make you feel alone because they're only surface deep and you're a deep person. And spirit says, so go out and fill your soul, because this person will steal your soul. Like that's what it'll feel like. They'll drain you. I'm going to leave that there, Gemini. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.